We're going to go live right now where Barrie Police are providing an update on the ongoing situation near Ann Street and Edgehill Drive. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon and welcome to Barrie for an update on the occurrence that occurred earlier this morning. Barrie Police and Barrie Fire and Emergency Services responded to a report of an explosion at a parking lot located at 108A Ann Street here in the city of Barrie. Upon arrival, Barrie Fire and Emergency Services, along with Barrie Police personnel, located a vehicle that had in fact exploded partially, and we also located an improvised explosive device nearby. As a result of what was located, an immediate evacuation of the residents was required, and with the assistance of City of Barrie transit buses, we were safely able to remove a number of occupants from the building and give them shelter on transit buses. We also implemented an area of a shelter in place to ensure the safety of our community, while resources from the Barrie Police Service responded to effectively deal with and professionally manage the situation that we were dealing with at that time. I can report that as of around 8:30 this morning, the Barrie Police Explosive Disposal Unit did attend the scene and was able to safely and remotely detonate an improvised explosive device that was located, as I said, a short distance away from the vehicle that was initially reported to have exploded. No injuries were sustained to any members of our community, and all emergency services personnel that responded are fine and healthy and will return home safely to their families this evening. We can appreciate that the road closure, the shelter in place, and the impact that this has had on traffic and day-to-day business in our community has been significant, but we do appreciate and respect the patience that has been exhibited by members of our community, while our service, who has been assisted by the Ontario Provincial Police, have safely, effectively, and professionally managed the situation which we encountered early this morning.
That IED found? You said nearby.
It was located about 10 or 12 feet away from the motor vehicle that had exploded early this morning. It was observed, I believe, initially by members of the Barrie Fire and Emergency Services, who made our officers aware of their observations, and collaboratively an undertaking was taken place to safely remove a number of people that could have been impacted if that device had in fact exploded.
So was it out in the open, Peter, like on the ground underneath the vehicle?
It was in an adjacent garden close by. It would appear as if the device that exploded on the vehicle, it's a possibility it may have been there beside that vehicle or part of the device that exploded, and it just did not detonate at the time of the initial explosion.
So there was that first explosion at, 2 o'clock, you said?
2:56 this morning.
So that was an IED that went on?
We believe at this point that there was an explosive device placed upon the motor vehicle parked in the parking lot, and that a portion of that device did not explode at the time, became dislodged, and that was the device that was remotely imploded by our explosive disposal unit.
Amazing, no one was injured. I know it's early in the morning, most people are probably indoors at the time, but how much more serious could this have been?
This is significant. We have no less than 5 high-rise apartment buildings, a retirement home, and a neighborhood community in close proximity. Certainly this could have been a disastrous outcome, not only for residents of our community, but for any emergency services personnel that were responding to this. Again, when you receive a call for service at that time of the morning and a vehicle has reportedly exploded, you're not anticipating being able to come about locating an improvised explosive device. You're not expecting to find something like that. I credit the emergency services personnel that responded and had the ability to search and locate what they did before anything serious happened.
Peter, can you describe the area that the car was located in? Parking lot, residential, commercial, and how large of an explosion was it here in Lansing?
My understanding is the vehicle was parked in a parking lot of the low-rise apartment building. It was parked beside another vehicle which did sustain damage. In fact, that vehicle probably sustained, from what I understand, to be more damage than the actual vehicle that it was placed upon initially. But at the end of the day, vehicles can be replaced. There's a great value when it comes to human life, and nobody was hurt.
How large of an explosion was it?
It was loud enough that a number of people in the building immediately called 911 to make the report, and the appropriate response was provided by Barrie Fire and Emergency Services, County Simcoe paramedics, and the Barrie Police Service.
Can you briefly touch on the importance of the support, like a bomb squad that were able to successfully detonate that secondary explosion?
We're very fortunate that the resources that we have within the Barrie Police Service are available to our community. Certainly the highly trained personnel that we have here in Barrie, it goes to say second to none. Law enforcement is obviously well prepared, certainly trained for these type of occurrences when they do take place. I will also comment that we were assisted by the Ontario Provincial Police, who provided a canine unit, and that canine unit was able to search the area as well to make certain that there were no other devices that could potentially harm anyone responding or anybody from our community.
And which investigative unit will take care of this?
At this point, and from the outset,
Well, we've been getting an
members of the
update from Barrie Police. There has been a shelter-in-place order. We're now finding out what this is all about. Police responded to an explosion in a parking lot on Ann Street, and apparently a vehicle had exploded partially, and Barrie Police located what they say is an IED, an improvised explosive device, about 10 feet from where this car exploded. It prompted the immediate evacuation of nearby residents. Thankfully, there are no injuries to report.